Dear friends, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Stavros Angelides. He is political economist, executive director, executive advisor with a master's degree in diplomacy, international policy, and with specialization in political economy. So all these factors will help us in the plan. We have quite a lot of questions which I want to ask, but I will try to be very specific. Dear Stavros, let's start by introduction, by few words what we want to share with business community who will be watching our video.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you for this interview and for having me and for your kind introduction. And I would like to congratulate you for this effort and initiative and for organizing these interviews in order for all of us as professionals to share our thoughts, ideas, and brainstorm in order to help on what is coming after all this settles down and we will all be back to business as usual. I think in such time it's important to be creative and find ways to be busy, at least if not productive, and due to the circumstances. Therefore, once again, well done to you. I would like to say also, please, that remembering the banking crisis of 2013 here in Cyprus and the overflow of information back then with expert opinion and expert advice by almost everyone, I wouldn't like to consider this interview as compared to those, but only as an interview where, as said before, I and I believe the rest of the professionals too will share our thoughts and ideas and help in any way possible in order to help each other and sustain the shocks of this crisis to the level possible. And of course, it's important for all of us to say something important at these times because not only about business and economics.
Yes, and I would like to start with a description of the picture, how Cyprus was before the crisis. Okay, how did you see, for example, Cyprus on the 1st of March, when we understood that the crisis is everywhere in the world, but we still didn't have anything here?
Let me also say something that is important, please. These days, yes, we're going to speak about business and economics, but it's important to speak also and say a few words about the people that are at the front line now giving the fight for us and that are winning the battle for us, the people on the front line that need our support. So we all have to show self-discipline. It's more about health than business and economics, but it's important to see also what comes after. But again, it's more important that we look after ourselves, our people, and our community so that we help those people in the front line. Now, about your question, how Cyprus was. Cyprus had a year after year growth the last 5 years. We've seen yields of the government bonds declining, repayment of loans even earlier than expected, the growth generally of the economy and of the important sectors of the economy on a rise, and obviously the unemployment rate at very low levels compared to the past, and the spending of households also rising, plus a surplus in 2018. So the picture was really good. On the other hand, though, we have certain problems that we have to face that related to imbalances, economic imbalances, related to household debt, one of the biggest in Europe, and of course the issues that we have with the banks and the non-performing loans again of households. So we had a lot of positives, but at the same time a lot of negatives, especially the one with the non-performing loans, which is we're scratching it off the books of the banks, but it remains in the economy. So it's like putting the problem under the carpet, which is not the right way. So we have to find solution for that because the problem remains within the economy.
Right. And now let's move to Cyprus after crisis, because that's obvious that this month, mid-March, mid-April, will change a lot of things. How do you see? Okay, let's not discuss and describe all this panic we had and all depression that maybe a lot of business people have now, but let's look at the time after crisis. What's your opinion? How can we recover faster? What are the first steps that needed to be taken by Cypriot business, by businessmen themselves and by the government to help the economy to start?
Let's start, we need to expand a bit here because first of all, let's start by saying that almost all governments are taking similar measures around the world on the basis of what we call discretionary fiscal policies. These are measures that are mainly policies that alter government spending or taxes. The purpose is to expand or shrink an economy as needed. In this case, is to expand the economy. Right now, the economy needs support, and this economic support package that the government is preparing, which is a total of an excess of 2.5 billion, aims to keep aggregate demand to the levels we had pre-crisis. This aggregate demand is basically consumption, investments, plus government spending, plus net exports. Bank support also is expected to include short-term restructuring of existing credit facilities, as well as new short-term credit facilities for working capital purposes. The European Central Bank has agreed for additional liquidity, which is very important. So I believe these are very good measures. Also considering that probably, as I see, we're going to have a suspension of loans for 9 months. So all these are good measures, but we have to wait to see what the reality of these measures will reveal and what benefit households will eventually have from these measures. Realistically now, and my personal opinion is that, and although the measures are generous considering these factors I mentioned before, I expect that the economy will contract, and I expect that unemployment also rate will inevitably rise. I want to be wrong, or at least it won't happen to a large extent, but for a short time we'll experience such situation. I want to believe that maybe by law the jobs of people will be safeguarded, but I'm not sure that it's possible or even constitutional. There will be businesses that will have to change business models, forecasts, and plans. The next 1 year for sure will be a year where we have to sustain the shocks of as much as possible.
If to summarize what you have said, because we need to summarize this part of our interview, what would you say in few words? What would be your summary of the things discussed so far?
The summary is that, and going into what we can do, we have to understand that because Cyprus growth is depending mostly on foreign investments, and we will have to depend mostly on the internal market now. So what we can do practically is look for more synergies between us. We have to find ways and lower price levels, decrease profit margins in order to sustain the shocks. There will be no other way until 2021. So we have to find innovative ways and cooperate. Tourism, which is our biggest sector, has been hit hard. And it's not about us going back into business fast. It's about other countries going back to business fast. And because we're dependent from foreign tourists, 35% of our revenue tourists comes from the British market and another 20% from the Russian market. So we have to find ways to sustain the shocks from the internal market, from us. So what we need to do is cooperate and create synergies. This is what we need to do.
All right. Thank you for this, and thank you for explaining your views. We will prepare a series of interviews with different questions I will ask you. So this part is over, and we wish to everyone who is watching us to be healthy, safe, and to find a way how to go on with your business with minimum losses from this difficult period.